Coach Rob here. Let's take a few minutes and just discuss. You've got 2 months of field testing under your belt here, okay? You've already gone through and you've plugged in and converted all of your miles into seconds using the pacing calculator, okay? And what you're going to notice is we're going to be comparing these 3 data points to these 3 data points. And it's real important that you understand how to interpret this data to make sure that your training program is developing in the right direction. Here's what we mean. You notice here back in October, and this is a complete hypothetical, please don't look at the heart rate numbers and think that yours are too high or too low. Remember, all heart rate numbers are completely individualized to you. I'm just using this for illustration purposes. In this particular instance, back in October, you averaged 26:39 for a 3-mile time trial. Your average heart rate was a 165 and your max was a 174. In a perfect scenario, if your training protocols are going in the right direction, in this instance, the initial test was done in October, this test was done in November, okay, about 6 weeks apart. We converted the data pace per mile. We captured your average heart rate at the end of each mile as well as your max heart rate at each mile. And this is what I want you to be taking a look at. We always like it when we get progressively faster. That's fantastic. In this instance, you went from a 26:39 down to a 25:40. Your average heart rate went down from a 165 to a 158. That tells you as an athlete that your aerobic enhancement is getting better. That means that you're building more capillary beds into the muscle, which means it delivers more oxygen. It also has more avenues to get rid of lactic acid. So this is a great trend that we want to be seeing in your training, that not only are you getting faster, but you're able to run at a faster rate of speed at a lower overall average heart rate. The second variable I want you to look at is max heart rate. Okay, notice here in October you were doing it at a 174 being your max, and here in November you're at 161. Significantly better, but we're not surprised because we also saw that in your average heart rate as well. Okay, so with that being said, this information tells you that your heart is able to produce the necessary amount of blood to produce a high level of output. You can see that you're doing it with a lower heart rate because it's indicated both on your average and your max. We now take this information and we convert it back over to your heart rate training zones. It's very important that you're updating this with the most up-to-date max heart rate number. Otherwise, you're going to be using erroneous numbers here, which means your training zones are off. That includes both your max and your resting heart rate. Okay, so it's very important that you're taking your body analysis. Let's come down here and take a look at that real quick. You're taking your resting heart rate at the end of the week and you're updating your weekly training zones. Okay, it's very important because as your aerobic function gets better, if this resting heart rate's coming down, it's going to be pulling these numbers down, and that's what's going to keep you from overtraining. Okay, whether it's by too much volume or too much intensity, the bottom line is we don't want you to train too hard, too long, too often. That just leads to burnout and symptoms of overtraining. So I just wanted to take a few minutes and just help you understand what we're looking for. When you call me on the phone and we're comparing your time trial data from month to month, these are the variables that you and I will be looking at and discussing to make sure that what we're doing during the week is enhancing your overall function as well as improving your overall leg speed. So if you have any questions about the interpretation of this data, please don't hesitate to email me. My email address is Robb, R-O-B-B, the number 3, @earthlink.net. And again, I appreciate you watching the video.